Hey everyone, this is DM Domination from Grim Press, and today I'm going to be highlighting another Fantasy Grounds extension for you. Today, Map Parcel's extension from Bill Perry or Silent Ruin, which can be picked up with the DM's Guild link in the description below. There will also be a link to a video that goes more in depth on the intricacies and the ins and outs. This will just be a preview on what it can do. So let's dive right in, and you'll notice I have two Fantasy Grounds Unities up, and this is a Unity only extension. On the left here we have the player version, and I have two player characters up. On the right I have the host or DM version, and I have the combat tracker, the map, and a parcel here. So I'm going to go into some of the main uses here that you can take a look, and when you want to dive into the intricacies, I'll let you take a look at Silent Ruins video there. So first, we're going to look at how the players can interact with it. And I have the combat tracker up here because it does play a role. So here I have a parcel that I have taken a token out of my assets bag. And what I did was I searched chest and I drug over and I dropped the token here. And a blank parcel would look like this. It's a standard parcel. So an important distinction is if the parcel has a token and is placed on a map, it is going to be fully interactable. Things can be taken out of, put in. If it's not on a map, it's going to be a standard parcel. If you were to click the button here, which is send to party inventory sheet, the map parcel will stay intact. If you have it actually placed on the map and you were to send to inventory, or the players were to start dragging things in and out, then it will actually transition between inventories. And this is the difference between a parcel that you're going to have over on the DM side that you're going to just share with the party and put it in their sheet, as opposed to a parcel that you want the players to be able to interact with. And what that interaction will look like is this. So as you notice here, I have the show results option, a pick lock DC I've set at 15, a break DC I've set at 15, and then it is currently locked. So on the player side, what your players will see is they're wandering around, and you'll notice I have the same two characters here. They will see a chest, they will walk up, and they will click on it, and this is what they will see. And I am actually going to switch the combat tracker to Kierstag to demonstrate something first. Now, whoever is active on the combat tracker is the one who will be able to interact with it. So this will prevent multiple people from trying to grab into a chest. So make sure that whoever, if it's the rogue wanting to pick the lock, they are active on the combat tracker on the DM side. So Kierstag finds a chest. The chest is empty. She opens it. She sees this. She tries to pick the lock. Kierstag is a druid. She cannot pick the lock. She must have thieves' tools to pick the lock. If the DM's going to do it manually, they can do that on their side, but she has to have thieves' tools. So if you have the rogue there, they could do it, but the barbarian would be forced to break lock. And it will tell them if it's a success if you have this shown, but it does not automatically open it. That requires the DM to click the lock unlock parcel button over here. On the other side, if you have baby Kierstag, who is now active on the combat tracker, attempt to pick the lock, you're going to see that it actually works. The failure, again, has no result. It's up to the DM to decide when to authorize that. You can actually leave these at zeros and they won't get any result in terms of actual success or failure. If they were to keep going, the result will be nothing. So you can actually leave them blank and then keep the DC in your head, and they will be able to wonder what's going on. So the second part is, okay, they've successfully opened the chest and they're taking a look at the chest, and you have Kierstag wanting to take out the breastplate. Let's assume she's a druid who can use it here. So we're going to have her grab it, put it on her sheet. You'll notice it's gone because it's on the map. And you'll also notice that it works just like everything else. If she were to equip it, it would actually be equipped and she would be able to use it. I'm going to go ahead and put it back in. That's another thing. So in my game, how I've used this is my players have their own house. So I have created a house property chest. I put it in there so when the party comes back to their house, they can actually just all run over there and click on the chest and move things into the chest. They have multiple chests. I've also created a parcel for each of their bags of holding. It's not on this one because this is a copied one, but on their bags of holding, what I have done is I have created a parcel that says Kierstag snakeskin bag of holding, and I have linked it right here. So, and it's unlocked, and now Kierstag, instead of having to have her bag read like this, she's actually opened that up and moved all of the things that read bag of holding into her bag of holding. So they actually have their own parcels that they interact with now, and they move the things where they want, and they can take them out, and then they can put things in the home chest, and then I just unshare the map when they're out adventuring. That way they don't have access to it. So that is the long and short of the player's side. So that is aspect one of map parcels. It's really useful. I have gone through on my next one shot I'm going to be running, and I have actually created all the loot chests that they're going to find. I have put the things in there. I've set the DCs, and I've dropped it on the map, and it is a really awesome thing for the players to be able to just see a chest and then run up and open it and want to try and break it or pick the lock. It gives a level of interaction with the map that I find to be incredible. So the second thing I do want to demonstrate is all DM side. So let's kind of spread us out here. And let's say in this situation we have a goblin who rushes over and tries to loot the same chest. Goblin is on the combat tracker. The DM rolls a couple rolls and says for some reason the goblin is able to reach in and grab. Anybody is able to stop him. So he grabs the great axe, and what we're going to do is we're going to drag this great axe, drop it on his character sheet. Right away, if you have ever DM'd Fantasy Grounds, your mouth should probably be on the floor at this point. You'll notice the +1 great axe appears on the combat tracker. It appears on his sheet, and if you have a keen eye, you'll notice he has an inventory tab now. NPCs only had 2 tabs before, and there's his great axe. And you'll notice they also have treasure and weight and things like that. So now, in the middle of battle, this goblin has grabbed a great axe, and now he has moved here, and he's going to, let's just use it from the combat tracker, swing that great axe with a +1 right away. Swings, damage is slashing and magic, so if you have magic resistance, the goblin takes a hit. Oh wait, the goblin's worried about getting hit back with his unlimited actions for the purpose of this video. His leather armor and shield's not quite cutting it, so he reaches back in, grabs that breastplate armor, puts it on. Now, for him, it's not going to be a substantial difference. If we were to, I don't know, give him some plate armor and scroll down here and see if we can find some nice +2 plate mail. You'll notice his armor class just jumps through the roof. It's here. It's also stored on his sheet because any item you add will be down here for you to take a look at. And you notice that it jumps his armor class up to 20. So when it's Kierstag's turn to take a hit, they're going to now be facing a goblin in plate mail armor with an armor class of 20. Now, do bear in mind, it does put it here, puts it here, but you will need to adjust for, obviously, his disadvantage on stealth saves. The inventory is kept here. So this is another great way to build up your NPCs, especially your big bad villain there. You'll be able to take a Strahd von Zarovich, and instead of him having that natural armor class, maybe we want him to have this great axe, and you can transition there. And now he has the great axe and the breastplate armor, which is going to boost him anywhere that it would if it is better, depending on how you have things laid out. Now, of course, there are a variety of things on Strahd von Zarovich's sheet, so it's going to be a little harder to differentiate as we go and jump around. But once you put it on the combat tracker, then it will be much easier to get access to these things, and you can take a look as you scroll down, he has a large number of layer actions and spells and things like that. And you can build these in advance. So that is the ins and outs of the map parcel system, both from the player side activating a chest and from the DM side giving NPCs inventory and magic items either ahead of time or on the fly. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to us on the Grim Press Discord server, and have a good day. And here we are back to update this video with the latest updates from Grim Press and Silent Ruin. This is going to be the changes that Silent Ruin has added since the recording of the first video. So we're going to start off with some of the more basic things that will be easier to implement. That will be the ability now to add different weights to your coins. If you want to add an additional coin and make it weigh 5 times the standard weight of the gold piece, you may do that. As you can see, the default is, of course, left at the standard. Going on to something I personally am a big fan of is the weight in the new parcel sheet. You'll notice there's been some updates to the parcel sheet, and it includes a weight table. Some of the other buttons we're going to cover here in a minute. What this will allow you to do is track how much weight it is. In the instance of my games where my players use this for their bags of holding, I can track the 500-pound weight limit. So another really cool addition is the ability to auto-delete parcels. So you'll see these here, and this is from the DMG. Say that you go ahead and roll this, and you get a sling bullet, and you put it into a parcel. I'll just create a new one here. You wanted to output it, you could change it to parcel, but if you have a parcel and you're going to assign it to the party sheet, or to anyone for that matter, what this feature allows you to do, and it is this button right here, and you can hover over it, press to turn on. So mine is on auto delete now. Now when I click send to party inventory, it auto deletes the parcel. So if you have parcels already set up, you can click that right before you assign them. Once it's empty, auto deletes. Very good quality of life feature added by Silent Ruin. And there is an additional feature. If you wanted to duplicate chests, like say you wanted to have numerous chests with numerous things in it, you can click this button to transfer the contents without deleting them from the current one. And as you can see, they're still here because I have that clicked. And you would be able to actually auto delete, transfer it to the party sheet, and it's gone. Now, the last feature is probably my absolute favorite, and it's going to impress most of you. So if you aren't impressed by this extension so far, this is definitely going to impress you. So what I'm going to do to show this off is I'm going to just cover the basic requirements of it, and I will let you kind of read up on the link from Silent Ruin for the intricacies of it. But you will need a parcel named with the brackets MP, close brackets, space, loot. And you need to assign a token. You will see why momentarily. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these two goblins I have here, Goblin Prisoner 2 and Goblin Prisoner 3. Before we do this, I'm going to go back up to options, scroll all the way down to the map parcel options. They are default off, and I'm going to turn them on. It's a PC or NPC death drops parcel, and do not drop empty parcel on death. The thing it will do is when you are fighting, if you have hypothetically a damage section that drops an NPC all the way to 0, unless of course it is a NPC that is going to be having an important NPC option from another extension, which will make it have death saves, but most NPCs on your standard will drop at 0. So I'm going to go ahead and double this damage, so we'll kill him in one shot. Let's go ahead and drop number 2. You notice he dies, and that new parcel appears. So if I were to delete him, he would leave behind this loot generated parcel. As you see, it says loot goblin prisoner 2. If I were to subsequently kill this one, who has an inventory of nothing, an empty inventory, he would not drop anything because I have that option selected at the bottom not to drop a parcel on death if it's empty. So if I were to delete this, you'll see it's gone, but his loot remains. So that will fill your battlefield with loot. It also works for players. You'll notice I went ahead and gave Kierstad quite a few death saves here as I was testing it and some damage. You'll notice her inventory is back because I've replaced it. But if I were to fill in her death saves, you will notice that it will auto kill her, transfer her loot to the bag, and her inventory is now empty. And it will say loot Kierstad. I could of course transfer that back. I'm just going to click the delete after I drop it, drag it over, drop it on her. It'll transfer all of her loot and gold and all of her equipment there, and once it reappears over here, it deletes that loot packet. So that is the most advanced update to the Map Parcels extension. I strongly recommend you pick it up on the DM's Guild with the link below. Thank you.